The statues on Parliament Hill tell a story of their own. There's only one woman honored here, Queen Victoria, a woman who got her job because there wasn't an eligible man around to take it. The rest, every last one of them, is male. The fathers of Confederation, the prime ministers, the history of a nation where women didn't get the vote until 1921, weren't considered to be persons until 1939. Last week, the House of Commons erupted when MP Sheila Copps said MP Bill Kempling had called her a slut. That word can be added to others he's used in the past: fishwife, bitch. Ironically, none of these words appear in a list considered to be unparliamentary, words that are banned from the House of Commons. Women here on Parliament Hill say it's because the list was drawn up by men.
I think this is an institution that was designed by elderly men.
Barbara Green, Member of Parliament, Tory and mother. That's her on the left. This is her first term, but she's a veteran of Toronto's rough-and-tumble municipal politics. She says Parliament is an old boys' club, one that isn't friendly to women. Last March, on International Women's Day, Green the backbencher made waves in the House of Commons. Women, she said, had little to celebrate, and in particular, women in Parliament.
Indeed, many members of Parliament feel that the ability to blow apart rabbits rapidly is a higher priority than the need to reduce the carnage by guns from which women suffer disproportionately across this country.
I have been physically threatened by another member in a caucus meeting, but he told me to shut up on one occasion, and on another occasion he physically threatened me with his hands, kind of thing. But by that point I had decided I'm not going to take any more of this shit, and I grabbed my water glass and I would have thrown it at him. But the more you think about it, the more you think, well, why are they hitting me? Because women don't hit back, or because they're vulnerable or whatever. And if anybody hits me again, they better watch out, because I sure is not going to take it.
Agnes MacPhail once said that if she'd ever known how truly awful it would be, how horrible it would be to be the only woman in the House of Commons, she never would have run.
It was 1921. Women got the vote and Agnes MacPhail went to Parliament. 1959, Ellen Fairclough was the first cabinet minister. Only 81 women have ever made it as far as Dawn Black has. She knew it would be hard, but she expected it would be better. After all, her party, the New Democrats, has a policy of affirmative action to promote women within the party, within the executive. But that doesn't extend, she says, to the rest of the House of Commons.
Well, the very first committee meeting I attended, I was substituting for one of my male colleagues. And the chairperson of the committee greeted me very warmly and told me that he was really pleased to have me there because I'd be much more enjoyable to look at than my male colleague. So I had to wonder right away whether anything I had to say would be taken very seriously.
1 in 10 husbands beat their wives regularly, and these women, I don't think this is a very much of a laughing matter, Madam Speaker.
I was absolutely shocked, not that they laughed at me so much. I mean, as a novice MP, you sort of might expect that, but that they laughed at the whole very, very serious social problem of the high incidence of women that were battered by their spouses.
Margaret Mitchell is the longest-sitting woman in the House. She regards that incident in 1982 as a watershed event, one that awakened the consciousness of Canada. The next day, the House apologized to Mitchell and to the women of the country.
I do find, though, that there's a very patronizing attitude still, and Mr. Kempling himself, for instance, calls me dear all the time. And that, to me, is almost as bad as the kind of overt sexist comment that he made this week.
Almost half the women who have ever been elected are here right now. Even so, they are only 13.5% of the members. They are gradually moving into what are regarded as high-profile, hard-nosed jobs. Still, Kim Campbell is just the first female justice minister. Mary Collins, the first woman to hold a defense portfolio. Women from all political parties have decided that it's time to push harder for change. Last week they met with the Speaker to tell him just how seriously all of them are taking this matter. They also told him they know that most of their colleagues share their opinions. However, they also told him that it takes only a few to make the House very unfriendly to women. One of the women to meet with the Speaker was Deborah Gray. Gray is the 81st woman to be elected. She is also the first MP from the Reform Party.
When I came here, I knew that it was going to be a difficult run and a lonely run. I suspect in some areas it's been a disadvantage that I'm a woman, in that I wasn't made to feel welcome by, you know, the old boys club feeling.
Deborah Gray's stand on this issue shows just how united the women are. Unlike most of the women in the House, Gray doesn't call herself a feminist. Yet she, too, says the House is sexist.
I've noticed that people from the other side will make comments about, well, when a woman talks and her voice starts to ascend as she gets more and more emotional about it, they say, well, here she goes, you know, hang on to the chandeliers. And I've heard not just one or two people saying that, but you hear this noise coming across, you know, of criticism.
For the time being, Queen Victoria stands alone here on Parliament Hill. There is one other thing which unites the very different women of this House of Commons. They all say there is only one permanent way to eliminate sexism, and that's to elect more women. For News Magazine, I'm Karen Webb, CBC News, Ottawa.